Check 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Let me record in the camera. Let's have some fun tonight. I'm about a minute early. Awesome. Okay. Presentations are working. What's up, guys? It's 8:45, and I hope that I'm live. Let's see. Gonna refresh my browser. This video is live now. Sweet. So what's up, guys? Isaiah Gibson here again from Lightwell Visuals and Passive Income Hub. So tonight's live stream is part 3 of our digital marketing Q&A. Now, if you guys missed the first two, I showed you pretty much how to create your own website, how to make a sales funnel, and what the difference is between the two. You guys can go back there and watch that during your own time, sure. But what I'm going to show you today is the importance of an email list. It doesn't matter what kind of business you have. If you're online, you need a way to follow up with your clients. You need a way to kind of warm up your leads. You need a way to engage them and make them want to do more business with you, want to do more recurring business with you. If you guys don't know, email and SMS messaging is huge for any online business, This allows you to pretty much be, self-contained. Social media sites can drop you at the drop of a hat. They can block you, they can close your profile, they can say you've been banned for God knows whatever reason. But if you own your own website or your sales funnel, if you own that domain, if you own your own email list, and you start using email marketing platform, then you're able to build your business for the long term. You're able to grow and succeed in ways that you didn't even think possible. So now that we know why you need to have an email list, let's work on, what exactly is email marketing, how you can go about using it to grow your business, and let's get into some questions down the line. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen for a second. So here you go. So right now, the lesson that we're going over today is called Mastering Email Marketing, right? And so a little bit about me. My name is Isaiah Gibson. I've got 2 years of experience in digital marketing, related to email marketing, funnel building and design, copywriting. Um, and I'm here to help you guys grow your online businesses. Okay. Now, if we go into this, right, the keys to a winning email formula, right? You need a strong subject line. You want to pretty much make sure that your subject line is engaging, but you want to make sure that it's something that really draws people's attention right away. You want a very engaging body, right? The copywriting within the body is something that you're really going to need, and you're really going to want to use it. So pretty much you want to make sure that you're telling a story. You're guiding a customer through one journey to the end. And hopefully the end is them, buying your product, or becoming more knowledgeable about your product, etc. Sometimes the body of the email doesn't have to be super long. It can be 100 characters or less, be 100 words or less. You really want to have a clear focus on every message that you put out there to your audience. You want to make sure that they know who you are, which is why you're going to start to warm them up first. But you also want to make sure that they're actively engaging, which leads to our next point. You need a rocking welcome campaign. Now you want to start engaging your leads from the very first emails to ensure that they open your emails and they take action, right? You don't want them just to read your emails and say, good point. You want them to either respond to you, ask you questions. You want them to go to wherever your product site is. You want to make sure everybody's getting the biggest active engagement and involvement through this, conversation as possible. And the email list allows you to automate this kind of process and workflow, right? You create these sequences ahead of time. They read the emails, that you may include a video, you may include some photos, make it more a little engaging or interactive. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're pushing out the best product you can to them. And then you want to clean your email list regularly. What that means is that if they aren't engaging with you, if they aren't opening your emails, if they aren't clicking your links, whatever your metric is for engagement, you want to make sure that you find ways to adapt to that first, see why they aren't opening your emails, try to cater your message to a more very specific niche audience. Or if you think you're doing everything you need, but certain people are opening your emails for that reason, whether it's going to spam, whether it's being bounced or whatever, you have to eventually just hey, just cut your losses. Just say, hey, this person is interested. They didn't unsubscribe. I'm gonna remove them from the list and maybe add them back in there later. Um, that's one thing you should probably consider doing regularly, because a healthy email list is a key to a very successful email marketing campaign, both in the short term and in the long term. Now, when I first started email marketing, I screwed this up a great deal. I didn't have a welcome campaign. I didn't know what that was. I had to kind of do my due diligence and learn about that. I had to find out that the welcome email says, this is who I am, this is where I've been, this is what my company's all about, this is how our products can help you solve all these problems that you could also be having if you were like me, right? And the welcome email campaign is usually about 3 emails, could be more, could be less, but I found that 3 is really the sweet spot. You have 3 emails where I don't pitch anything. I'll say, this is how you can contact me, sure, whether it be my Facebook group, whether it be Calendly through some kind of one-on-one Zoom or Google Meets meeting. um and those are really the only 2 links I have, and I might offer some other like free resources within that welcome email that says, this is what I do, and I think, this is how I can help you get to your next level where you want to be. And after, the next few emails, I start to gauge where they are, ask them to maybe respond if they have any questions, if they, really want something really specific to their particular scenario, that I can kind of like use that to help further build the relationship with them, right? And so the welcome email allows you to do that. The welcome email is really where you first start to build that rapport. You first start to build that relationship. Okay. And you want to make sure that that's solid. You want to make sure that that's ready to go whenever you can. All right. Now, moving on, we've got this one. Hold on. Can I make this full screen? There we go. All right. So these are some really specific notes that you should probably kind of take heed of. Make sure you have a strong subject line. Don't use bogus claims like you can make $1 million in 30 days doing this BS trick. What that's going to do is going to tell like internet service providers, ISPs, inboxes, that this is likely a spam email. How many times do you guys actually open your spam and like just read the subject line, right? It says you've won $1 million. No, damn well you didn't even, try to play for anything worth that much money. Or you're like, how did I even get my information? That's usually what happens when you make these bogus claims. It's like the internet providers are smart enough to determine, hey, this doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to even allow this to fly. You want to gather people's attention right away. You want to do it the right way. Usually, how to's are much more thorough or much more effective, right? Than just simply making that bold claim. When you say how to make a little bit of money in a much longer amount of time, it's usually a lot more credible because it's more actionable, it's more sustainable, it's more doable, it's more plausible, right? It's not clickbait because you can actually back that up, and you can there are actually people that have done that. There's many, 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 many more people that have those, that has easy replicable results, making $10,000 in 90 days than they do making $1 million in 30 days. I mean, unless you were born in money or you just happen to luck up, You're not going to make $1 million in 30 days. Now, next, you want to absolutely take copywriting seriously. Copywriting is the art that sells, right? And if you guys came into my other Q&As, you would know that copywriting is a huge tool to use. It's a huge skill to have. Now, this is the key for effective emails. Not everyone is a great writer or storyteller. I happen to be, because I went to school for filmmaking, and storytelling is a key aspect of that. However, I don't expect most people to have this background. There's two key AIs that you can use to come into play when you think of copywriting, right? When you think of stuff that can write your emails for you, they can write your product descriptions, all that stuff for you. One is one that I use all the time called Writer. You guys may have seen that in some of my earlier videos that I posted. And another one's called Jasper. Now, Jasper isn't free, but it's probably the best copywriting bot on the market. Jasper used to be called Jarvis, and before that, it was called Conversion AI. So it's gone through quite a few name changes, quite a few rebrands, but each time it seems to level up and just grow, its performance. So whatever works for those guys. Um, and I mentioned warming up your audiences first. Now, when you warm up your audience, this means you don't try to sell your product constantly, and you don't try to sell them from the jump. If the very first email they get from you is, "Hey, thanks for joining my list, buy this $10,000 product," they're going to be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, pump your brakes there. I don't even know who you are," right? You want to make sure that you establish some kind of communication, some kind of relationship with folks before you start trying to get them into these super expensive, super high ticket offers, because again, no one wants to be sold constantly, right? You want to sell your product in a way that makes sense. You don't want to follow them around the store, make them feel like they've been followed around the store. You want to like see, okay, they're opening emails here, they're opening emails there. Maybe they're interested. Okay, now how can I tweak my message to really cater to them, to really target this person that says, okay, I see where you are, I see where you want to be. Now I can help you get there with my product. And that's what effective copywriting does. It tells a story that says, look, if you're like me, you went through the same problem. You don't have a ton of time to write emails. You don't have a ton of time to build funnels or to build websites, but you have a willingness to learn. You want to make money. You want to leave this rut that you've been in for so long. I can help you do that using these three products, and that's what effective copywriting does. It's a story, right? It's touches on certain pain points that people have, and it addresses those, but then it shows you how to solve them within the same prompt. Or if you don't give them how to solve it at the end, tell them to contact you, and you kind of like close them in a call, right? It all comes full circle. Now, the biggest thing you want to think of whenever you're doing email marketing is obviously who is your list, right? The reputation of the list. You also want to think about how are you perceived to the email service providers, in which case you absolutely need to make sure you got a few things. You need to make sure you have one, a custom domain. A custom domain is like your name at your website dot whatever.com. Okay. And so what that allows you to do is it allows you to do certain things. First of all, it makes you seem more credible to all internet service providers and just people in general, right? If you're using just a subdomain for your website, people are going to know that, your website's being hosted by ClickFunnels or by GrooveFunnels or Groove Pages or whoever, or Wix. But if it's yourbusiness.com.net.shop, that's much, much, much more plausible. And it's a lot easier for people to type into the URLs, right? Right. So you want to make sure that when you're doing these things, you want to make sure that one, you're easily found both in Google searches as well as in email inbox providers. Okay. And another benefit of custom domains is that you can authenticate them. So what that means is that it's going to improve your deliverability like tenfold. Now, I'm not even kidding, because when you have just a personal email, like, let's say that I use my business for example, Lightwood Visuals. Let's say if I just use Lightwood Visuals at yahoo.com, right? Inbox service providers are going to read that and think it's fraudulent because anybody could have made that. It may not be a legit business. They don't have any way to prove it's a legit business because it's just a totally free email. However, if you were to create your own custom domain for it, now if I have support at lightwoodvisuals.net or .com, which is one of my actual emails. Now it's telling the email service providers, okay, this is a real person, this is a real business, right? And so, plus you're able to authenticate using certain metrics like SPF records or DKIM records or DMARC records. In which case, those are telling the email service providers and the inbox providers, hey, this is a real business. These guys mean business. We're able to say that this came from an actual IP address and not from some random person or some random computer, like everywhere in the world is being randomly generated by VPNs, but we're actually to say this is a real person, real business, and you can trust this. You can at least trust to open this email. You may not trust the content inside the email, but you can at least trust the email itself is legit. Now, going back into that content, just like in the subject lines, you don't want to have spammy headers or super clickbait headers. In the body of the emails, you want to make sure you're following the same thing. You don't want to have too many bogus income claims. You don't want to have too many like bogus like promises, right? You can't say become a millionaire overnight, using this one simple method, because likely that's not going to happen, right? That's not going to fly. And email service providers actually read all of the emails that come into their inboxes. They read everything that you put out there. So if they detect that you're putting out bogus stuff in the copy, they're not even going to let it hit people's inboxes. You can have the best subject header in the world. You may even have some good information in the email body, but if you just put in one or two of those bogus claims, you're going to spam, buddy. You're going to spam. You're bouncing. You're not landing in people's inboxes. If you're not landing in their inboxes, you're not being open. If you're not being open, you're not being read. If you're not being read, people can't click on your links to buy whatever your product is. It comes full circle, full circle. You have to do the things up front to really make sure you give yourself the best chance to succeed. And again, I made all of these mistakes myself. And I'm trying to help you guys to avoid these mistakes, as best as I can, because it's not any fun. It takes time to troubleshoot. It takes time to clean up your domain if it gets a bad reputation. These bad reputations come from, spamming people's inboxes. They come from having broken links on your websites or in these emails. Anything tied to your domain can either strengthen it or weaken it. And if you're not helping yourself, you're hurting yourself. And you really need to kind of think of that. It's like everything tied to your name. If you're not helping yourself, you're hurting yourself. There's no such thing as staying the same. There's no such thing. All right. Now, one of my favorite platforms that I like to use is called GetResponse. So, GetResponse, if you guys don't know, is an all-in-one marketing tool that you can do landing pages, you can do emails, you can do websites, all types of sweet stuff with GetResponse. Now, the benefit of using GetResponse versus some of these other platforms is that, one, they have a totally free plan. You can send out newsletters in their free plan. You can't do autoresponders automations, but it allows you to start building your email list. It allows you to start sending out those newsletters to say, hey, this is who I am, this is my product, this is why you want to be with us. And these are our promotions that we have going on. Newsletters are a very strong tool to use after your welcome campaign. You can use it instead. I mean, you can use it during the welcome campaign too, but I really think that they perform best after that welcome, like drip campaign per se. Okay. And I can show you guys what GetResponse looks like in a second. GetResponse is just one of those super solid platforms that a lot of people use, and for good reason. I mean, they really have their stuff together. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share tab. Let's go. All right, so this is GetResponse. All right, so starting off, you've got your lists, reports, drafts, all that good stuff. Then these are the different email lists that I have. As a free member, I think you only get like one list, which is totally fine. These are some of the workflows, right? Workflows are based on automations. These are people that are in those workflows. And let's see, if you create a newsletter, what you'll get access to as a free member, this is what that looks like. So it's going to ask you to make your subject line, how it's going to be read, it tells you for best visibility, keep your subject line under 60 characters. Keep it short, keep it simple, but keep it engaging. Make it eye-popping. It's adding what list are you going to use for this newsletter, right? In my case, I can choose passive income pub members. Now, what email address is it coming from, right? In my case, supported light with visuals. And same thing, the reply to can be the same, supported light with visuals. And these ad recipients, you can either add single people, you can add total lists, you can add segments of lists. If you're first building out your email marketing platform, you can do it that way, right? And then now when you want to design a message, this is where it gets fun. They've got all these sweet templates you can use, and as a free member, you get access to a lot of them. Not as many as this, but as a free member, you get quite a few. But personally, because templates have a lot of images and too many, and image to text ratio is very important for inboxes, because if you got too many images or too large images, it actually hurts your deliverability. So like some of these where the 10% off with the big old blue circle, that's fine. But if you look at this very first one here, I'm going to preview it. Angus beef burger, eat like a champ. This may or may not fly, because look at how big this center image is of the burger, right? So now you have to add a few other bits of copy at the bottom. You know, this is super clean, right? It really draws your attention. There's only one thing you can click on. You may want to add a few things under it to really kind of make that ratio a little bit better, that image to text ratio, so it really lands in the inbox. And this is the mobile view, and you have to obviously optimize that mobile view because the text is broken up. That's a no-no. If for any email marketer, you want to make sure that the mobile view first and foremost is the cleanest view, because people are gonna most likely watch stuff on their phones more than anything else. All right, so if I start from scratch, if I go to a blank template, it's gonna ask you how do you want it to look, and this is where you should kind of plan it out ahead of time. 2 columns, 3 columns, 1 column. Let's go 2 columns, because why not? All right, you can keep the logo here, in which case you would click on it. All right, it's gonna ask you where's it coming from. You hit here to hit add logo. All right, I've got my logo there. Now the size is way too big, so I'm just gonna drop that down. And that's good enough for me. And now here it says insert blocks here. Now this is usually where you want to put like some kind of header, some kind of text, whatever. And so here under layout, this is where you find your blocks, your basic blocks. You got your text, your button. So I'm always going to do text there. All right. And then you type in whatever, you want to email to read. And these other blocks here, you can do an image there, more text, or text in both in both places. And at the very bottom, you got your business information and your unsubscribe links. Now, when you're ready to send it, you hit next. It's going to ask you to send it immediately or schedule for later. As a free member, you have to send immediately. I don't think they allow you to schedule posts as a free member, but hey, that's totally fine. You can always draft it and hit save and then publish it when you actually need to publish later. But that takes a little bit away from the automation process. But at the same time, if they're already made, you just go in there and hit send. And then they give you a spam check. They say, okay, you shouldn't land in the spam folder if you send this off right away. And that's GetResponse. It's extremely easy to use. And now if you go to reports, they give you all of your metrics, right? They give you your open rates, your deliverabilities, your click-through rates, all of these things, right? And this is for newsletters. They give you autoresponders. They give you all kinds of things. Automation messages. They're extremely thorough in how they handle their metrics. And it helps you as a business owner because you get to see what your engagement is like. 15% open rate, it's all right. I'm not going to lie. It could be better. But that's why you have to constantly clean your email list. Constantly. And I took too long to do that, which hurts your deliverability down the line. So that's the basics of email marketing, right? The very bare minimum you need to understand. If you guys want to sign up for GetResponse, again, you can find that link here. GetResponse integrates with every major funnel builder, every major website builder, because they're just a super solid email marketing platform. Now, what I personally recommend, I use Groove for all of my funnels, all my websites, and half my email marketing. I use GetResponse for the other half my email marketing just because I like to compare the deliverabilities, right? I do split testing of not just my funnels, but also my email deliverability. And there's a lot of things that go involved in that. The sender IP, if you're on like a shared IP, like how most people are, if you're on a dedicated IP, how a lot of the super wealthy people are, your subject lines, your copy, how many images you have, how many videos you have. There are things that are gonna make or break your email deliverability. And I like to kind of test the waters with all of them, right? And if you guys have any questions, just drop them below. I'm here to help you guys grow your business. I would love if you guys, watch the replay because I always like to leave it up just so you guys get the biggest bang for your buck. You get the most information possible. And remember, the email list really allows you to grow your business tremendously because it's giving you a platform that you own, right? It's giving you a way to follow people constantly, a way to engage with them. It's giving you a way to offer them, your products, your services without you seeming pushy. You control the email list, but at the same time, you control the success of said email list. You know, um, Anything tied to your domain and your business, again, is either going to help you or hurt you. You absolutely want to make sure that you give yourself the best chance to succeed by just doing a little bit of work up front, making sure you got your custom domain up, making sure it's authenticated, making sure that it's working. And then after that, start slowly, emailing your list. Don't email 1,000 people starting off because you may land in spam for half of those. You want to slowly warm up your own IP address, slowly warm up your inbox, slowly start just easing into the mass email marketing because slow and steady wins the race, right? If you try to send the same email to 10,000 people at the same time, you may only reach 8,000 of those people, and 2,000 of those emails could get lost in the shuffle, whether it be spam, whether they be bounce, whether they just hit the promotions tab, but they may not all land in the inbox because just the way email providers work, because of the way email marketing works. If you're not properly warming your leads, not warming your inboxes, then they're gonna just assume you're a spam or trying to, just either attack their client or just constantly sell them crap. And so you want to make sure that you give yourself the best chance to succeed by just kind of slowly growing your business, just easing into it. And the email marketing really allows you to kind of offer multiple products, but also at the same time build your relationship with customers, right? Because visibility is everything. And if people forget that you exist, how are you going to do business with them, right? How are you even going to help them if they don't even know that you're there? If they don't know your product exists, you can have everything they've been searching for, but because you didn't reach out to them, because you didn't put forth a little bit of effort to, build your relationship with them, to make sure you land in their inboxes, to tell your story, they're never going to know that you have everything that they need. That's it for me, guys. I've got a bunch of other more resources. I can share with you guys these documents if you want. Um, just hop in the Facebook group, ask for it, but they'll be there. So that's it for me, guys. Uh, thank you all for joining. It was a good night. I hope you guys learned a great bit from this live. I'll try to do more of these again every Tuesday and Thursday, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. So if you can't be there, the replays are going to be up. And if the time doesn't work for you, maybe suggest a better time where you could attend, and I'll consider it. So that's it for me, guys. Isaiah Gibbs from Live with Vision, Passive Income Pub, signing off. Oh yeah, follow me on TikTok. Boom.